Welcome to the second episode of the talk show Pod.
The pod where we talk about anything and everything. These are your hosts, Taki and Syed.
Hello. I hope you guys remember the structure of the show. We have some topics and some questions on them, so let's begin. Taki, have you heard about Temu and Shein?
I do. They're so famous. They're the most famous apps in North America right now.
Yes, but the US lawmakers have made an accusation against Temu that they're enforcing slave labor.
That's interesting. Also a controversial topic.
Yes. We're going to talk about that topic today. So let's begin. What is Temu and Shein?
I'll take Temu and you can go over Shein. So Temu is essentially, they call it mega store retailer online. They're owned by a holding company, PDD, and that in turn is owned by Pinduoduo. That is a software company. To be exact, it's actually a software analytics company. So they're owning a fashion company, and that's how this whole thing started.
And for Shein is one of the biggest fashion retailer. I think they were founded by Nin Jiang, and they even have a headquarters in Singapore. So it's very confusing, but they're right now one of the biggest online fashion retailer in North America. So these two apps are becoming popular every day.
I know, and especially Temu's gone crazy famous in the US because they've put out like a huge, I think ad in the Super Bowl.
Wow.
They spend millions of dollars on it. And people are crazy about it. Apparently the prices are really good. We'll look into that afterwards. But yeah, that's what Temu and Shein is.
So what is the accusation? What is the accusation that the US lawmakers are making against Temu?
So the accusations, there's two accusations going on right now. So one is they, like you said in the beginning, there's accusations that they're using slave labor to keep their prices down, especially Temu. I don't think that accusation has been made about Shein yet, but they're both in the same boat, kinda. And the second accusation is that they're exploiting US import loopholes. And maybe you can get a little bit into it. There's a law, the de minimis rule. You can explain what that is to the audience.
So basically, the de minimis rule is a rule where you can ship products at a smaller batches. So the rule is for US import laws. In the law, it states that if you ship or import a batch which is below $800, it goes through less security. So as a result, a lot of the international laws are not checked while you're shipping very small batches. But hear this out. Temu and Shein are daily shipping 600,000 shipments of these small batches every day, so that they can go through the US import faster without having any security checks and stuff.
And also the fees.
And also the fees, yes.
The taxes are significantly lower because if you look at the big box retailer that we have here in US, like H&M, Gap, they pay millions in import taxes.
And Temu and Shein are not doing that.
Yeah.
And that's might be one of the big reasons why their
prices are so down.
Yes. So it's a pretty interesting accusation, and let's see what happens on that accusation. But on that note, what is actually the connection of slave labor with Temu and Shein?
So this is kind of interesting if you really look into it. So China has a region called the Xinjiang region. So what that region is there's some people called Uyghur. So if you haven't heard of this, Uyghur.
Okay.
So essentially they're Muslims. There's a lot of Muslims in that area as well.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Muslims in this area, and Chinese government had like a huge rule that essentially says that, not a rule, they want to make sure that this community, the Muslim community, is going well with the Chinese Han community. So what they started is they started some camps. So they essentially took those Muslims, the Uyghur Muslims, there's a lot of Uyghur Muslims, there's Uyghur other people as well. They took them, put them in camps, and over there they're put into forced labor to produce different type of products. And while the male are in those camps, producing these products, the women are at home. they're forced to actually invite Chinese Han population to come in and spend like a couple days a week in their household, and that's how they're thinking that they're gonna reduce the Uyghur population in the Xinjiang region.
Wow, that's insane. And
Did you know about this?
No, I had no idea. That's inhuman.
Yeah.
And I think that's why US import law has such a huge ban on that region, that no products manufactured on that region cannot enter US or North America per se, right?
Yeah.
But if Shein or Temu are using this import loophole to bring that type of products in North America, this accusation can be very big.
Yeah, so essentially what it says is that cotton is the biggest thing, that's one of the biggest thing that's produced and comes from the Xinjiang region. So the thing about forced labor is over here in Canada, if you want to produce something, you got to pay someone minimum wage, $15 an hour. Forced labor, it's free. So they're free. So free labor.
They do not get even paid, right?
Yeah, they
never
don't
mind minimum wage. They don't even get paid. They are forced to work.
They're forced to work. The kids are at home doing nothing. Women are getting tortured. There's a history of like abuse, ethnic cleansing, then rape, and all of those things. There's like crazy tortures going on apparently over there. That's why there's all of this restriction. And the men are working, making the cotton. That cotton is getting contaminated in the supply chain for Temu and Shein. They're producing the clothes that we are ordering here in North America. So that's the accusation. That's how slave labor is getting involved in Temu and Shein.
And imagine if the accusation holds on the court, it's gonna be such a big damage for the company being associated with such type of act, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's going to be impossible for them to change their business model, because their business model is essentially there's tons of manufacturers to consumers directly. So they don't order, let's say Gap or H&M, they order like if they like a design, they're going to order like 10,000 pieces. They order 20, 30. And they have tons of manufacturers, so they can't control if those manufacturers are going in and getting cotton from the Xinjiang region. So their business model is going to be destroyed. The prices are going to be crazy if this accusation holds. Temu or Shein is not going to be Temu and Shein if this accusation holds.
It's going to be something different than they call, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens on the court. We will if this topic goes beyond just accusation, of course we'll make another episode on it.
Yeah.
But let's move on to see what this app is actually about.
Yeah.
What is the hype about, right? Let's explore some of the products from Shein, from Temu, and also compare them with some of the other big retailers like Amazon, maybe.
Yeah, we can check those out. See how the prices, like how drastic the prices are going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be more expensive in Amazon, hands down.
Let's go.
And
do you know what I'll do? I'll open Temu, you open Amazon, and let's see what the prices are.
Sure. What are we looking at? Let's take it, because we have a bunch of water and other stuff in here. The easiest thing might be, let's go for the price of a water bottle.
Oh yeah, water bottle. Yep.
So if I go into Amazon,
just one open. So let's open Temu, and
so water bottle. I have this gradient water bottle in here. It's going.
So when I open Temu, it starts off like up to 90% discount. Wow, up to 90% discount. It starts off with that. Let's search a water bottle.
I have the cheapest one for 16. Actually, I'll put in a filter for the cheapest one. I don't know if you can put one in here.
Okay, let's explore the same product. So the first product that came up on Temu is a gradient color water bottle.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing, gradient color water bottle. It's
What's
going
the price?
for $18.99.
Just imagine what's the price here.
It's $6.
3.48.
Okay.
3.48, going at a 53% discount.
But if you click on it, is there shipping charges or anything for that?
Let's see.
So
let's add to
for
it.
Amazon here, because I have Prime,
Let's
it's
check
not
the
gonna
color.
have shipping charges. There's no shipping charges for me. $18.99 all in.
So it's gonna be, it says free shipping and free returns on all orders.
Oh wow, so it's exactly like Amazon then.
It is. It is. It is.
Actually, Amazon is not free. You got to be a Prime member for free shipping and free returns.
True.
So Temu is better. What about Shein?
Let's go through Shein. Let's open Shein, search up water bottle, and since the same, we are comparing the same product, the price is $7.60. It's still a bit higher than Temu, but way cheaper than Amazon.
Yeah, it's like almost like less than half of it, 30%.
So Temu is the lowest, Shein is the second lowest, and Amazon is way higher than those two.
And also that
No wonder
being,
they're becoming famous.
yeah, and that being said, like I think I know why Temu is cheaper than Shein in this product. It's because I think Shein is more into, like
Fashion
you
and
said,
retailer,
fashion,
yeah.
clothing, and all of those. I'll throw in an interesting thing. Yesterday, when I was going through like this accusation to see what was happening with Temu and Shein, I just wanted to see, because we're both from Bangladesh, I wanted to see if there was any accusation about that, like using forced labor in Bangladesh. Now, you'd be really surprised at the statistics. Like people put so much stuff about made in Bangladesh being like this, that. We hear it in North America. They think about like garment products in Bangladesh is not ethical, this, all of this, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, there's a list from US Department of Labor. There's 14 products from China, which apparently uses slave labor, and it's one of the biggest economy. And there's only one product from Bangladesh, and you're never gonna guess what it is.
What? Clothes?
Yes, it's nothing to do with clothes. I'll give you this. It's a food product. I'll give you two guesses.
Food product. That's interesting. It can be what, rice?
No, we don't export rice. What else? Think about what we export. What do we have most? What do you get in here that's explicitly from Bangladesh? That's food product.
I have no idea.
Okay, so I'll give you. It's too hard to guess. It's fish, but dried fish. Apparently, dried fish. I don't know how uses slave labor, and it's flagged by Department of Labor in US. But that being said, there's 14 products for China. We have only one.
So
That's a big thing. Just something.
yeah, at least we are Bangladesh is
Yeah.
somebody's
happening.
on fire, but at least Bangladesh is going in the right direction, reducing the
we just
slave labor
have-
and everything. But this big retailers, like online retailers that North American people are getting used to, and if they're being accused on a daily basis on something like a slave labor thing, I think it will be a huge damage on their reputation and how North American people assume about this brand.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not even order if such a big thing gets associated by this big retailers.
That's true. Now, moving on to another topic. I heard there was like a huge cyber security thing for like Temu and Shein. Maybe you can expand on that.
Yes, and it wasn't long ago. It was what 3-4 months back,
Yeah.
where they had a huge accusation against their cybersecurity misuse, where they were tracking private data on people who were downloading this app on their phone. For example, Apple gave them like a 14-day notice to take their app down, update it, and then put it back on their app store so that they can fix all the privacy matters and concerns.
You know, TikTok had the similar thing. I think Meta also had
Some kind of same
some kind
issue.
of similar, but not that to that extent.
But Temu were going one step ahead, where they were tracking the IP addresses of every individual who downloaded or installed the Temu app.
So they basically know where you are, kind
Where
of.
you are, where you're ordering from, what type of products you're ordering from. So all the smallest of details, even they were tracking all the pictures that you were. So basically, when you open the Temu app, it asks you if you are going to give them access to your like gallery or photos, which has nothing to do with an e-commerce platform, right? Like
Wow.
why would they need access to your phone, or sorry, to your camera or your gallery per se? So they were also asking for that permission. So basically, they were tracking IP address, pictures, all the other apps that were installed on your phone, what you like on the internet, what you're searching for on the internet, and that many individual tracking caused Apple to tell them that you got to stop all of this. I give you 14 days. Take your app down, update it back, and then again you can place it on the App Store.
That's crazy, because in that way, so they can technically. So what you're telling me is that right now, if I saw the price of a water bottle is $3.99 in like Temu app, and then I clicked on it and then clicked shipping, and then I just didn't go through with it for some reason and went ahead, opened my Amazon app and placed the order on Amazon, they will understand that this is like, I was this close to them, but it's actually went through Amazon.
Yes.
They will be able to track that thing.
Yes, of course, and not even, you don't even have to open the Temu app. That's the interesting part. It can remain closed on your phone and still track the same thing.
Wow.
So there were huge privacy concern about Temu. A lot of lawmakers accused Temu again for misusing private information on their users, and of course Apple also accused them, and they had to rebuild their app, update the app, and again relaunch it on the Apple Store. So Temu has been accused of a lot of things, but sometimes I wonder, don't all of the other apps do the same thing?
They kind of do, but like I think one of the biggest thing is, if you're from China, then you're gonna go through like if you're from China, then you probably have your knee deep into those like CCP party issues.
Is it because the US or the North American companies are scared of Chinese companies? Is it really because they're misusing all those laws and the North American companies are not? Or is it like the opposite way, where Chinese companies are doing the same thing and providing much tougher competition to the North American companies? As a result, somehow the Chinese companies are getting forced to handle with a lot of the other privacy issues, laws that are being thrown at them, some accusation that are being thrown at them. Don't you think it's kind of weird?
Yeah, and also it's because China has less restrictions than US. US has a huge consumer restrictions. China is pretty open. So it's really easy to do a consumer facing business in China as opposed to in US because of all the laws. You have so much expenses, so much to worry about. Now, with that loss headquartered in China or over there, if you're moving up and using US consumers, then you can do a lot for a lot less. Mm-hmm. That's why those US companies think it's not a fair game, because they are under so much scrutiny, whereas Temu or Shein is not.
Has no scrutiny on them. And as a result, the US companies might force the US lawmakers to put like, hey, Temu and Shein are not doing this, and we are doing this, and it's not fair on us. So, hey, why not you look into them?
Did you know about the antitrust laws that Shein and Temu was doing?
Antitrust laws?
Yeah, so essentially what they did is, like, this regulatory scrutiny and everything that's happening, right? Temu and Shein have a lawsuit going on in the US against each other.
Oh, Temu and Shein against them?
Against each other.
Wow.
So this is interesting. Hear me out. So essentially, what Temu said is Shein is taking all of the manufacturers in China and threatening them that if you don't work exclusively with me, then I'm going to give you repercussions. There's going to be a lot of issues. We're not going to do business. You're going to lose all of your business if you work with Temu.
Oh, wow.
So that's against US antitrust law. So you're allowed to have fair market and fair competition in US for every product. You cannot set up a
like
monopoly.
Yeah.
So what they did is, like, because that thing might not fly in China, so they came into the US market and they actually sued. Temu actually sued Shein, saying they're against US antitrust laws, whereas breaking thousands of import laws and then slave labor and all of those on the other end.
Wow, that's interesting. So we will get to know if this isn't just another accusation against Temu or this Chinese retailers, or it's just gonna be like another false accusation that doesn't hold up in the court. But once we know, we'll let them know.
And we'll do another episode.
Yes. So if you liked this episode, drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what would be the next topic for our podcast. And our next podcast will be very interesting because it won't be just the two of us. We'll bring someone in and have a wholesome discussion.
Yeah, and keep on potting.
Keep on potting.